All right, so you have run ads for 3-4 days. It's an exciting time for you and your brand, right? It is. I remember the first time I ran my ads, I was really scared. I was really scared spending. I don't know, we were spending like 300 kroner per day or something. For me, that was really really scary, right? And it is scary if you haven't done it before. But at this time, try when you start running ads, try to let these 3-4 days just go by itself. Don't even look at the ad account. You have done much work, you have done much preparation, you have built a strategy, and you need to be confident in that strategy. You don't need to look at your ads 5, 6, 7 times every single day. You don't have to. I would say that the best advertisers, the best marketers, the best meta advertiser, whatever you want to call it, is people who make calculated decisions, and they don't even need to look at their ad account more than 2 or 3 times a week, right? So I want to say after 3-4 days, you can start looking into your ads. This is the part where you optimize and scale. Maybe you don't even scale, but at least you need to optimize. You need to see how the ads are going, right? So I just want to say the importance of just letting it run. Let Facebook algorithms, meta algorithms do what they need to do. And then you need to understand, it's really, really important that you understand the margins of your products, so you understand how profitable you must go, right? If you, like I was talking about, margins are so important. If you don't have good margins, the more difficult it's going to be, right? So you need to have that in place. If you have good margins, the less ROAS, the return on investment you can have. The worse the margins, the higher return you need to have, right? And you need to think about the cost of the product, and also shipping and all these things, the extra costs of actually running an e-commerce brand, right? Okay, so key KPIs for analysis. If you don't know, KPI stands for key performance indicator. Okay, this is goals, this is things you need to look at, this is things you need to track to understand what ads are performing, what ads are not performing. Okay, so you need to review these performance indicators. Okay, so what we usually look at, we look at the CPC, so the cost per click. How much does it cost for you to buy a click, I would say, right? How many people does click through? What is the percentage of the people that click through the ad? And I would say an average is around 1 to 1.5%. If you're under 1%, something is wrong. If you are above 1.5%, that is really, really good. If you're at 3-4%, that is amazing. We see some ads that have like a 5 or 6% return. No, sorry, 5 or 6% click-through rate, which is really, really good. That's what you, obviously the higher the better, but a 1.5 and above, I would say, can be really good, or can be. It really depends also on the conversion rate on the website. But yes, so you need to look at the purchases. You also need to look at the CPM, which means cost per mile. It means what is the cost to show your ad to 1,000 people, 1,000 impressions. Okay, you need to see purchases, add to cart, checkout. The reason for purchases, add to cart, and checkout is to see where potentially people fall off. So does people go into your your landing page or product pages and they press add to cart and then they don't buy? Or do they completely go from add to cart to checkout and then they don't buy? You need to kind of see how the customer process is. Where do they fall off? Where do they not fall off? So you can capitalize on that later on, right? Frequency, really important. This means how many times one person has seen your ad. So if you're doing a retargeting ad, for example, you want people to see your ads more times, right? But if you're doing complete to new customers all the time, you want that frequency to be pretty low. But it's not bad to have a high frequency, but it shouldn't be too high either. It really depends on what your goal is, right? Hook effectiveness, this is a metric that you need to set up yourself. but it does mean how many people, what is the percentage people that watch after 3 seconds. So now, like we were talking about in the content creation part, in the guides and the scripts, right? We now can understand what exact hook is the best in the video, right? So now you can start analyzing what type of hook is the best, so you know before next content coming up, right? So please do that. It's going to help you out a lot. Conversion rate, really important. This is where you can see the conversion rate on your if you have a Shopify store, for example, you can see the conversion rate there, so that would not be a problem, but it helps to look and set up a custom metric as a conversion rate on your advertising as well. And then probably the most important two metrics, I would say, at least for myself, is the return on ad spend and cost per acquisition. So the return on ad spend, obviously, is the return you get back for what you put in. So you need to obviously see and track that. And also the cost per acquisition, how much does it cost for you to get an order or acquisition, right? So it's really, really important to understand that, and it's really, really simple to look at this metric if you understand your margins to see if you go very profitable, right? So understand your ROAS, understand the cost per acquisition, and understand your margins, how profitable you must go, how high of a ROAS you need to have to go profitable. Okay, so you run ads. Picture this situation: you run ads for 3-4 days, and absolutely nothing works. 0 sales, bad click-through rate, 0 ROAS, no orders on your Shopify or store, and nothing has worked, right? This can happen, and in business, you test and you learn and you fail and you test and you learn and you fail and you test and you learn and you fail, and then one time it all works, right? So you need to test and test and test. So then again, when you don't have any sales, you got lack of sales, you again need to go back and optimize the boring work, the hard work, the work nobody wants to do, right? But then again, you need to look, was the content bad? Do we need to improve the content? Do we need new variations, new angles, changes? Maybe you need a different influencer in your video. Maybe you need, have you tested picture ads, carousel ads? Have you tested like more professional content, more amateur content, longer content versus short content? Like, you need to test out these things, and if it hasn't worked in the first time, you need to test it out again and again and again, right? So, and if that doesn't work, is the landing pages bad? Like, are people maybe, let's say if they have a really good click-through rate, so a lot of people click through on the ad, but nobody converts on the landing pages, so the conversion rate is really bad. So maybe the problem is the landing pages, right? You need to identify, you need to track. That's why the KPIs are so important, so you can track these things. So maybe you need a better landing page, maybe you need to change a few things there, maybe you need better offers, maybe you need to improve the copywriting on your ads and maybe on your landing pages. So it's back again to the work, right? And if nothing else works, you've tested absolutely everything, you really do believe you have tested all the variations you need to do, then obviously you need to look into improve your products or even get new products or test new products. Okay, so that is the recipe. But if you fail the first time, don't give up. Try again, and try again. Running an e-commerce brand is not as simple as it sounds, but never give up. All right. So if you do get any sales, which is amazing, you run your ads in 3-4 days, it's been going really well. You see orders coming in, you see a great return, right? So maybe you got a 6x return or a 3x return or a 2x return. It might even be good for you. It really depends on your margins. Again, the better the margins, the less ROAS you can have. Obviously, you want a good ROAS, like obviously a 20x return on your ad spend is obviously the best thing. But not everybody can do it, right? So you need to look at this, understand your numbers, right? You need to identify what products got the most sales, what ads got the most sales, right? What ad sets got the most sales, right? So now you need to understand that, is it possible to scale? Am I profitable? Am I earning money? If I'm earning money, I absolutely believe that you should scale, right? So Now it's about scaling. So what do you do? How do you scale? So for me, we scale with 20% increase every 48 hours if the results remain stable. So we test it, we increased the budget by 20%, yeah, and we let it go. We chill a little bit again, and we stay chill in the boat, as we say. And then again, if the ROAS is really good still, and we keep it up, we scale again, and we scale again, and we scale again, and we scale until it's kind of like on that pinnacle where we feel like it's not possible to scale it anymore. When it's not profitable, we don't scale it anymore. So that's what you want to try to do. You want to test the waters. You want to test the waters, and then see if you can remain that same profit or even higher. And also, a really good scaling strategy, which one of my mentors actually learned me. Axelsson is a really good advertiser, and you guys should absolutely check him out. Is you take your conversion campaign, your ad campaign, and your specific ad. You take that specific post ID of that ad, and you make it an engagement ad, and you take the post ID into a purchase campaign as well. So you have two campaigns, one for purchases and one for engagement. So the engagement, and what that does is that it finds comments, it finds likes, it finds people that is much likely or more likely to do to do a comment or actually like the videos and react to the videos. So what happens then is, this is actually really interesting, is that what happens then is you're gonna have an ad. If you spend enough money on it and you're profitable on it, you're gonna have an ad with 1,000 likes and 200, 300 comments, right? And when you have an ad with 1,000 likes and 200 and 300 comments on your video, what happens then, it almost creates like a fake virality in your ad, right? So all of a sudden your brand seems way bigger than it is. And what you can do here as well, what we learned from Luke Brelmar, who is the CEO of Capital Club, is that commenting on your ad, starting a discussion on your ad, can create that viral ad, right? So you can keep more comments, so more customers talk about your product, speak well about your product. Some even do some negative comments, but that's the part of the game, right? So that's just life, right? But then again, creating this attention when people talk with the brand and the brand talks with the brand, the brand talks with the customer, is really the way to go. And absolutely, that's a great strategy. At the same time, when you find engagement, you obviously have that same campaign pushing for new purchases, right? So your return on ad spend is still good, but you're also at the same time finding likes and comments and purchases and people who converts into a sale. And then again, another benefit from that is actually when Facebook sees you having likes and comments and engagement, what Facebook does is your ad basically becomes cheaper, which means when your ad becomes cheaper, you can even go more profitable, right? So what happens then? It lowers the CPM because Facebook sees, okay, this is an ad who has 1,000 likes and 200 comments, which means it's a good ad with good engagement on it. So Facebook, what they think is that they want to reward you for having a good ad. Because what does Facebook want? Facebook wants us to spend more money on them, so it's a great strategy from them as well. So the CPM actually lowers, which means your ad becomes more cheaper to show it to 1,000 impressions like we talked about, which means you go even more profitable and get likes and get comments and create a virality within your brand, which is really, really interesting. Yes. Okay, so what do you do next? Do you just scale it to the moon and just do whatever? No. So what happens is here, when you scale, is that not every day is going to be perfect. You know, some days you do amazing days, some days drops, but just chill in the boat. Don't think too much about it, and keep moving on. But the thing is, now you can test other things. Maybe 4 of your ad sets did really well. Maybe one of them did really, really good. So you just scale that one. The other ones you just keep in the same budget. But now it's about continuous attention and creating new content for your initially successful elements, like I've written here. So when you have found 2 of your winning products, don't stop making new content. You should always have new content ready, because ads, they go like this, they go up, and then they go slowly down again, because people are sick and tired of your ads, basically. So what happens then is that Facebook can't find new purchases, they can't find new customers, because they've seen your ads so many times and they can't find new purchases. So you need to be aware and be ready to always create new content to the bestsellers, always create new content to the bestsellers. And as well, when you're testing that at the same time, scaling, rinse and repeat, what you've exactly done, do it again and again and again, right? And then the second part, I just want to say, that is absolutely the most important thing you need to do for your e-commerce brand. Okay, so test continuously on your winning products, new content, new angles, new influencers, new ideas, all these things all the time. You can also analyze a little bit what has worked in your ad, what was the best ad, what was the second best ad, can we do similar ads like we did on that, right? You can do that, and it's going to help you out a lot. Then the second thing, you can obviously test new winning products. You can look for new winning products. You can test different products within your store. Can you find that new winner? Can you find it? Obviously, it is very difficult. We see that most of the e-commerce brands that is out running, you see that 90% of the revenue goes through 3-4 of the bestsellers. So it's really, really normal, but you should always look out to test new winning products all the time, and never forget to create new content for the products that gave you the success in the first time. Okay, so what you can do here when you're scaling, when you feel like you've reached the pinnacle of your meta advertising, you can't scale it anymore, then that's when you go for other platforms. You go for TikTok, you go for Pinterest, you go for Snapchat, you go for Google. Obviously Google you can do straight from the get-go, to be honest. Again, it really depends on what product you're selling. If you're actually selling a product that people just need to search for, like it's not a meta, it's not a UGC type of product, it's going to be a little bit difficult. But then again, if you're running Google ads, do a performance max campaign and a brand awareness campaign and test out a bunch of search words, bunch of keywords, you're gonna make it as well. So Google does really, really well, but it's not as easy to scale. Meta, all these things, when you have good return on ad spend ads, you can scale them, which is so good. Google, you can't really scale. It depends on the market, on how many searches goes here and goes there, and then you get some of the purchases, right? So that's why I don't like Google. But again, it can be really good. So, but when you feel like you've reached the pinnacle, test TikTok ads, test Snapchat ads. Even if you sell to 50-year-old men or women, test TikTok ads, because you're going to be surprised on what actually is working. Because TikTok and Snapchat is really, really good. You can also test them out straight away. Like, I'm not saying you need to be the best at Meta first before you jump on these platforms, but that's usually what we do. So usually what we do. And then again, continuous analysis. Always look for other things you can do, things you can test, new angles, and yeah, look at the results, what got you there, and yeah, that's kind of like the way we run it. So yeah, onto the next module.